Welcome back to the podcast. Stupendous football followed up by stupendous results from Manchester United. 3-0 at Villa Park. They got the clean sheet and the 3 points to clinch the result and continue this amazing run of form. We're in 17 games now, unbeaten on the trot in all competitions since the arrival and the acquisition of Bruno Fernandes. So I hope you're doing well. And if you're not, I hope this show can cheer up your spirits. So smash that thumbs up button and don't be shy in the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are on the game. And all that good stuff. Gentlemen, how are we feeling after that result? And what are your overall thoughts and initial reactions on the game today?
I'm so happy. I knew it scored 3 goals today. I predicted it. But I'm more happy that, we got that record. The first Premier League team ever to win 4 Premier League games in a row by a goal margin more than 3 goals. So I'm very happy with the team.
It's fantastic. What about you, sir?
Yeah, this is championship form. We're playing. How long? Since when can you sit in a United game and just be comfortable and not worry about some slip up or what are we going to do today? That's how we've all been feeling in the last 3 games, and it's brilliant to watch. So I'm extremely happy.
Look, I want to talk a bit about that. I know this is about Villa and what just happened, but I think that Manchester United, what we are doing at the moment is going unnoticed, and we're taking it a bit for granted. I'll put my hand up and say that, listen, in the last few games, I've been extremely confident, but in the last few games, we've played some relegation teams. So I think I was perfectly justified in calling Bournemouth crap because they are crap. And if you think a team that's 18th is not crap, I think you need to get your brain checked out. I think Villa are crap because of where they are. I don't want Villa to go down. They're nice. I kind of like the club. I know people who like the club. I don't personally like it as much as, Shawnee, but I like them enough to feel sorry for them. So I think that feeling of confidence is going to come to an end when games like Southampton come on, because I just feel Southampton just nicked a goal against City and won that game, and they're a much better side than teams that are in the relegation zone. And so I think that confidence might start slimming, It might start slimming. What do you think of the run we've gone on, and how long do you think it will go for after what you saw tonight?
I'm hoping that at least this run goes on until the end of the season. I do think it is possible to get all the points we need. And I'm just hoping to end the season on a positive note going into next season. So I hope it doesn't end anytime this season.
I'm a little bit worried about Southampton now. It's the first time I felt nervous in a long time.
Yeah, look, Southampton are a good team, but I'll still be very confident we'll beat them. I think. Yeah. I don't know if we get every point from now on to every season because it's the Premier League and anything can happen. I can see us maybe drawing somewhere, and that's just because it's football. You never know what can happen. But I'm really confident in the way we're playing right now. I think if we were to play City, we've already beaten them a couple of times, but I'd be very confident that we'll beat them. I think we're favourites because I think we're playing at a very high level right now. And I wouldn't predict 2-0 or 4-0 thrashing against Southampton, but I still do think we'll beat.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Just one more thing before we get into the player ratings. Was it a penalty or was it not a penalty? Because this seems to be a massive argument. I heard people blowing it up in the comment section of some other watch-alongs I was watching of the United game. Is it a penalty or was it not a penalty? And I'm talking about the Bruno one in the first half.
Listen, whenever I play football, I play football every week. And, as my position as a striker and a midfielder, you told what Bruno does. You told in indoor specifically, if you try can get your back to the goal and do a little cheeky turn, a bit of skill. Yeah, you can take the content and yes, it is. Don't get me wrong, it's a very soft penalty. And if I was a Villa fan, I would obviously be fuming that was a penalty because it is very, very soft. But at the end of the day, that's a penalty all day. And, I see it every week, even when I play football, when I watch other teams play football. I think it was a penalty, but, all the guys who say that, it's soft, it wasn't a penalty, I completely understand where they're coming from. But, in my eyes, you always, as a striker, you're always told to do that to the defender. Turn him, if you get the contact, make use of it. And that's what he did. It was very intelligent play from Bruno.
But Shawnee, Schmeichel and Neville disagree. Legends of the club say it's not a penalty. You got to side with Schmeichel. How can you not side with Schmeichel?
Back in the a boot to the head was probably a penalty.
Look, guys, I don't think it was a penalty, but I'll take it. I think
he's on Team Schmeichel.
I honestly don't think that was a penalty. I think it was just a follow through. And
okay.
I think it's more of a Bruno foul than a penalty.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Okay.
If that was outside the box, would you have given it as a foul?
No, I would have given it as a foul. Looking at the replay, it's harder for the referee because he's seeing one shot. But looking at the replay, I would have given it as a foul in favor of Aston Villa, to be honest. I think Bruno was on the wrong there. Honestly, I think it was just a follow-through.
If there was no contact, I would say that wasn't a penalty. But I don't know. I don't know. It's about opinion.
A penalty is that the rule says, and I was telling to Ty, the rule says if you don't get the ball, then it's a foul. So I guess from that point of view, one can argue it's a penalty. But then, honestly, I don't think it was. I think he wasn't even looking at the ball. It was just a follow-through. So
I think like on paper, he didn't get the ball. He got contact with Bruno. Yes, Bruno did stamp on him afterwards, but I think it is what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's down to opinion. It is what it is.
Like they were saying, it's very subjective. So, and there's the whole clear and obvious thing, which some people might say is stupid, but I like it because it's consistent and there's consistency in the law. But besides that, I think we played well. I think Villa started very well. I think they played a lot of aerial balls at the starts, and it did disrupt us a little. But what I do love about what we're doing now, we have a lot of confidence on the ball, and we just weathered the storm. And I don't think we pressed very high today, and I think that was on purpose because of how Villa played. And we didn't. I think in attack we weren't as amazing as we'd be maybe against Brighton and Sheffield, but we managed the game very well. We knew when to attack and when not to attack. So I think we deserve the 3 points today.
Yeah, no, man. Yeah, I respect your opinion. I respect everybody's opinion with regards to this penalty. I just, it blows my mind that things that are so tiny can cause such a massive divide in a fan base that's ultimately supposed to be happy that they got the penalty in the first place. And all I would say to Villa fans is, oh no, if you didn't get a penalty, you would have been 4-0 up. Boo-hoo. Boo. You created so many chances that the penalty swayed the game in favor of you getting relegated. Oh no.
I feel like these things will always happen because as much as there's VAR, there will always be mistakes. And sometimes we're victim of it, sometimes we'll benefit from it.
It's the rule book. It's the rule book. I understand the parameters and the whole philosophy behind the clear and obvious thing, but clear and obvious is always going to be subjective. And referees like, what's his first name? Moss, the guy who was the referee today.
Jonathan Moss.
Is it Alan Moss? Jonathan Moss. Something like that. Whatever his name is, referees like that will always have their own opinions, and because they've managed, or they refereed, or whatever the adverb is for being a referee, they've officiated at the highest level, and they've got the experience to referee in those games, and they will always be picked, the Mike Deans of this world. And I think they will all have very different opinions of what's clear and obvious, and so will the people who, according to Jose Mourinho, sitting in London doing the VAR. So, I think it's a problem with the rule book. I know why people are anti-VAR, but if you're attacking VAR, it's the wrong thing to attack, really, because if it wasn't for VAR, you could have still given the penalty anyways, and we'd still be sat here having the same discussion, or he could have gone the other way, So that's just my 2 cents. But onto the player ratings we go. David De Gea, out of 10.
I'm going to give him a 7 today. He kept the clean sheet. He didn't really have that many saves to do. He did do the necessary saves he had to do at the end of the day. And I think his decision making today, when to pass out from the back and when to just boot it up the field, was good. So I think today was a solid performance from David De Gea. So 7 out of 10.
Yeah, he did his job. Like, there weren't many shots on target, but you can't really fault him for that. And he kept the clean sheet, so I'm also going to give him a 7.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. The next one's going to be very, very interesting because I made a post about him this week saying that he might be AI. He might be a robot. When is this guy going to have a bad game? And then against a relegation team, he decides, okay, now's the time to not give Rashford his assist at the back post in front of an open goal. But anyways, I don't give the player ratings. You guys do. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, out of 10.
I'm going to give him a 6. He should have buried that chance. Easily should have buried it. And, that yellow card today was a bit sus. And then, ever since that yellow card came, he couldn't play his game because, he's a guy who loves to tackle, go in for the ball and all of that. So yeah, I think after that yellow card, he was a bit on the ropes, and I think it was a good decision to bring him off. So it wasn't his best game. So yeah, 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. He doesn't have many bad games, and today it was like he was in the middle of nowhere because offensively he wasn't that great. And then defensively, they were attacking more on short side, so we didn't see much of it.
Yeah.
And then the one tackle that was pretty bad. And I was like, it was a surprise. I really hadn't seen a bad tackle from Wan-Bissaka. So I think I'll give him a 6.
He's not perfect. It was bound to happen at some point, you know. It was bound to happen at some point.
And it wasn't even like
against
an insanely bad game. It was like average for Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to say it's a bad game, not because I think he was terrible or anything, but for his standards, it's a bad game for me. Because ultimately, going forward, he had not that much, I'm being harsh, but he had that opportunity from the cross, I think, or from the turn from Rashford. I don't know if it was Rashford or Bruno who whipped it into him in the back post. It was Rashford, right? Yeah, I just think he had his moments where he could have done a bit better, and ultimately he didn't do anything that led to us losing the game or potentially losing the game. So it's okay in that regard, and I think people are being harsh. But again, I think it's because we're so used to him being perfect that the one time he isn't, it feels like, you know, he's had a bad game. That's the only reason I would say he has a bad game. But I'm cool with the 6. Like, you know, I'm not out to trying to give him a 5 or a 4. So I've got no problems with that. Who played in the centre-back position, sir? Lindelof. Right?
Yeah.
Jeez, my memory is so bad because we played so well in attack that I kind of forgot. Everyone was anonymous at the back.
Yeah,
Lindelof today for me was our best centre-back, definitely.
Yeah.
Today he actually won headers. He's playing out from back was good. His defending and positioning today was good. You know, today was very good. And yeah, I'm going to give Lindelof an 8.
It's Villa. No offense to Lindelof, but it's Villa. Like, this team doesn't score much, so it's not that hard to
an 8, but I think he did a very good game. Like, positioning great as always. And yeah, I did see it. I think Maguire did play from that more because he's very good at that. But I did see it more from him today, which he generally doesn't do. So I'll give him a 7.
That's fair enough. I mean, look, if someone has a good game, I think an 8 is fair. I think 7 is fair as well. That's just above average, I suppose. Depends what your standards are. Maguire out of 10.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know Maguire was playing today. Didn't hear his name once. Fan.
Captain Anonymous.
Yeah, I didn't know he was playing today. But he got a clean sheet. But I can't remember one thing he had to do. So 7.
He could have put on his flip-flops and put out a lawn chair.
He's literally, I'm giving him a 7 for the clean sheet.
Yeah, he could have had a pint or whatever they call it in the UK under his little tent.
Look, I feel like because of how disciplined Villa were, it was very hard for the people playing at the back to get out. And we see Wan-Bissaka bursting out a lot, and we see Harry Maguire do it. But today, I'll praise them because I felt like there was a period where Villa was threatening, but they were very compact, our defense, and the shape was very good. And for that, I'm also going to give him a 7.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Luke Shaw out of 10. And I just want to say, if Luke Shaw had the game that Aaron Wan-Bissaka had today, we would have crucified him on the cross. He would have been the next Jesus. But anyways, Luke Shaw out of 10.
Luke Shaw. He should have had 2 assists again today. You should have. This guy, I don't know when he's going to get in this. Yeah, he's really unfortunate. But going forward, very good. Again, I think tracking back defensively, amazing today as well. So yeah, I thought Luke Shaw was the better of the fullback, so I'm going to give Luke Shaw an 8.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't mind if he doesn't assist, because the way he plays, sometimes like he's an extra midfielder because he's very involved in movement of the ball in the middle. So yeah, like I'm always impressed with Luke Shaw. And defensively, there was a period where it seemed like he was struggling a bit, but it's because everything was coming that side, and a lot of crosses were coming from that side. So I think he had a good game, though. I'm going to give him a 7.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Nemanja Matic out of 10. He had a dodgy moment, but it wasn't his fault. He was actually unlucky in the first 10 minutes, I think, where he just got caught at a bad time in possession.
Matic, he did again what Matic does, composure to the back, allows Pogba and Bruno to do their thing. Defensively, he was good. Bringing the ball, linking it from the defensive play to attacking, he did it well. So yeah, I think it was a solid game for Matic, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't paying much attention to him. I was focusing more on the attacking side of our play. But I didn't notice anything out of fashion, to be honest. Yes, like everyone at the starts, there were a few shaky moments, but I think overall he had a good game. So I'm going to give him a 7. I have no reason to give him a 6.5 or 6.
Yeah, I think Matic didn't have a great game. He just had a good game. He did what he had to do, and that's good enough. Against Villa, anyways. Bruno out of 10, because Bruno's a weird one because he got another goal and another assist today. I know one of them was a penalty, and the other one was, you could argue a bit of individual brilliance, but an assist and a goal counts. This guy's stats in the Premier League are insane for someone who's just a rookie. But anyways, what are you giving him out of 10?
I'm giving Bruno a 9. I think he deserves it. It might not be his best to play, but again, he did what he had to do. He got a goal and he got an assist. And
he's fantastic.
Bruno is just, Bruno is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. I can't believe the quality of him. And he never gives up. He never stops talking to players. He is a proper leader. So 9 out of 10.
Yeah, fair enough. He was extra feisty today. Like, he wasn't having any nonsense today from the refs or anyone. He scored, and as always, he was threatening. But it was one of those games where he did lose the ball a lot because he's trying so many things. So I wouldn't say. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry about the dog.
It's okay.
I wouldn't say
we love animals. Well, I do.
I wouldn't say it was his best game, but then to say that when he scored a goal, it says a lot. So 7. And again, I'm giving him a 7 rating, and I'm saying it wasn't his best game.
Yeah, I think that's what you're always going to get from Bruno Fernandes, though. I mean, the feistiness, the leadership, it's what we expect from him now. And maybe it was a little bit extra today, but, that's Bruno in a nutshell. Pogba, out of 10.
Hey, my man. That's my midfielder. That is my midfield.
By the way, all you man who say Pogba shouldn't play deep, yeah? Just saying.
You know what? He had a shaky moment. His mistake could have led to an Aston Villa goal, but it didn't. And he picked his head up. He did what his passing. He's the best passer I've ever seen. Like, his passing is ridiculous. There's a reason why I say some passes only Paul Pogba can do that pass. And today with his goal, he was walking back at the edge of the box, and I wanted him. I was thinking in my head, Pogba needs to get into that Pogba, the classic Pogba position, and have one shot at least, because he has the quality to do it. And then the one moment he did, Bruno and Pogba, you could see they linked up, that they worked at something like that in training, because Pogba, he looked like he wasn't paying attention. All of a sudden, turns around, composes it, and then just finesses it bottom right corner. Goalkeeper can't do anything about it. This guy is a world-class midfielder, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10.
It's fantastic, man.
I think today might have been one of the best games since we've come back. I think he was amazing. I think he was our most disruptive midfielder. When the rest of our midfielders were struggling a bit in the first half, I think he was very consistent. I think he was holding up the ball very well. He was being very strong on it. And those long balls, gee, my life. Oh my gosh, so precise. Like, there was one he hit to Shaw, but then it was just too much for Shaw.
I know it's
he was amazing. And the goal he scored, he reminded me of Yaya Toure a few years ago. So precise. So, like, he was amazing. He did lose the ball once, and they almost scored. But besides that, he was amazing. So I'm going to give him a 9.
I mean, it's fantastic when Paul Pogba was being consistent at the moment, and with all the with the confirmation that United are looking are open to talks with his contract is really positive stuff, because I think for the first time in a long time we've seen Paul Pogba actually come out and say he's open to staying at Manchester United, and that's something I've personally said I want to see from Paul Pogba. I only want him to stay at Manchester United if he comes out and he opens his mouth and says, I want to be at this club long term and I am happy. Until I heard those words, I even just a few months ago was like, he's done. He's got to go. Not because I don't like him, not because I don't think he's good enough, but because if he doesn't want to be here, what's the point? I don't want to keep talking about this guy going to Madrid every summer because it's getting boring. And I think what's happening with him at the moment is fantastic. We have a consistent Paul Pogba and we have a happy Paul Pogba. Is there any better Paul Pogba to have at your club next to Bruno Fernandes and Matic in the midfield? I don't think so. You know.
But like, I was telling Shinny off there, like, I don't want it to turn when we're off form now. I don't want to when things get sour and he wants to throw his toys out of the pram. I don't want that. So if you can fix, I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to say it's an attitude problem like Mourinho said, but like if he can fix that part of his game, then I'm good for him to stay.
I think that's the pool of big players. That's just how big players are. If you're a big personality in the dressing room and you're upset, everyone's going to know. When Roy Keane was upset when he played for Manchester United, everybody knew Roy's upset. Now I'm upset too. When Cantona was upset, everyone was upset. That's just the influence that players like Paul Pogba have, and that's why body language, mannerisms, keeping things positive, being a leader, actually being mature is very, very important. And a lot of that has to do with whether or not a player is happy at a club. I think with Paul Pogba, he's tried so hard with this team and he's been promised so many things that hasn't been delivered that he's totally justified throwing his toys out the pram. And if other players, start playing badly because he's throwing his toys out the pram, I honestly think it's just a byproduct of the bigger problem, and that's the club not spending money. So if Paul Pogba does start throwing his toys out the pram again, I'm not going to be one of those people that says, Paul Pogba's a virus, Paul Pogba's this. I'm going to be like, no, he should leave if he wants to. But at the same time, it's Manchester United's fault for not signing Sancho in the summer, for not building a team around Bruno and Pogba, So they've bought Bruno. I hope they continue on the run of building a team, and doesn't just end with Sancho. If we do sign Sancho, because if we don't sign Sancho, I think Pogba will be back at square one very quickly.
I just hope he thinks long and hard about what he's committing to, because
I think he has. Look, I'm not going to sit here, and we shouldn't spend too long on this, right? I don't know what you were going to say, but I'm gonna like try respond on what I think you were going to say. I think he has. I think Paul Pogba wanted to come to Manchester United, A, because he loved Manchester United, and B, he wants to win major trophies, not just trophies, major trophies. In other words, he wants to win the Champions League and the Premier League, and he hasn't got that. And his contract is coming to an end soon, and he's like, listen, you guys haven't delivered the trophies I want. I want to go to Juventus or Real Madrid. Well, COVID-19 had other plans. Real Madrid don't have the money. Juventus don't have the money. Barcelona have done a dodgy swap deal with Juventus, so they're not going to spend the money on Pogba most likely. And it's not like he wanted to go anywhere else. So he's in a situation right now where he really doesn't have much of a choice but to run down his contract. And it seems like things are turning because we're 17 games unbeaten. And you're 100% right. He should think long and hard about his future. But I think, to be fair to Pogba, he has every right to be upset in the last season or so. Every right, And I think some of the attention in our fan base goes towards Paul Pogba. And maybe I can put my hand up and say, I've been a victim of that. But I've always said Paul Pogba should leave because Paul Pogba's unhappy. Not because United... I don't think United need Paul Pogba to build the league winning side. But at the same time, that's not the reason why I want him gone. He must be gone if he wants to be gone. If he wants to stay, then we need to do everything in our power to keep him. And right now, the ball is in our court. Is Ed Woodward willing to give him the financial package he wants and the deal he wants and sign the players around him that he wants to win the trophies? I don't know. And Pogba's perfectly justified in wanting to go to Madrid instead of sitting here and listening to Woodward's nonsense.
I'm good with that. But if he does sign, I just want him to make the right noises. And let's say he signs and we don't do what is needed. Come end of the season, it's cool. If he wants to leave and he wants to be vocal about it, it's cool. Yeah. But I don't want in the middle of the season we're hearing from Mino Raiola, Pogba wants to leave. I want to take a player to Real Madrid. I don't want any of that because that's just going to make toxicity in our club.
Obviously, man. So hopefully that doesn't happen, because for the first time in a long time, Pogba's doing interviews with Sky Sports. But anyways, let's carry on with the rest of the player ratings. Marcus Rashford, we'll start on the left wing. Marcus Rashford out of 10. Could have had an assist today, and possibly should have had a goal as well.
I'm going to let Morata go first on this one.
It's not the same Marcus Rashford we had before lockdown. And that's unfortunate because we all wanted him to hit 20 goals in the league and all of that. But it's getting better, and he'll get there, really. And today was like the last game against Sheffield, it got better. So I don't think he had a bad game. I think he was threatening. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
It could have had a goal and an assist as well.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with everything Malotso said there. Yeah, I thought Rashford was. It's not the Rashford we used to. I thought he was quite average, to be honest. So 6.
Fair enough. Tony Martial out of 10.
Oh, Tony! That work rate. That assist to Greenwood. That Greenwood goal came from Tony, like that amazing tackle, and he drove it, and and you could see when he even came off, he was fuming because he knew I deserve the goal today. He hit the crossbar and bar, and then he was probably
And by the way, sorry to cut you off. You'll have pundits on Sky saying, "Look at his attitude. Look at his attitude. His team's winning 3-0, and he's sulking. Look at his attitude."
No.
You know how the British media are.
And I completely understand it because, like, I know I'm a striker, and if I don't get a goal, I'm fuming. It's the same like Martial. And then if I go on the bench and I look at the striker there, like Rashford has a chance like that at the end of the game, and missing it, and I'm thinking I would have scored that. I would have put that chance away. And I don't think it's anything bad. Yeah, I don't think it's anything bad between them. I think it's healthy competition. I think it's good. I think you'll even see more fire from Martial the next time he plays because he'll be even more determined. But yeah, no, I think people must give Martial the credit he deserves, and I think our fans will do that today. I think today they understood how hard he was working and how important he was to the team. So I'm going to give Martial an 8 out of 10. Fantastic today.
Definitely. He had a fantastic game.
Yeah, got an assist.
Yeah. As we know, he doesn't have to score to have a good game. And work rate, as you said, was amazing. Hold up for that goal was just brilliant. Like, without him, there's no goal there. So, he had a good game. I'm going to give him a 7.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Mason Gunwood. Hey, 3 Lions. Where are you? Hey, it's Gareth Southgate. Get this guy in the team, blood. Get this guy in the team. I don't want to hear it. Get this guy in the team. Mason Gunwood out of 10. Out of 10.
Nice.
I think when you come to Greenwood, you must introduce Shuni as the Greenwood segment.
I mean, we know Sean is Greenwood FC, and by the way, I still don't think this guy's a right winger because with finishing like that, he should be playing down the middle. I'm just saying, you don't need a Harry Kane at Manchester United when you got finishing like that, fam. I'm just saying, all you people saying this guy's gonna bench Sancho. I think you gotta be looking down the middle. You gotta be looking down the middle because he ain't benching Rashford because Rashford has more goals than Greenwood ultimately. So I don't know. But I'll let Greenwood, Mr. Greenwood FC, the founder of Greenwood FC, go first.
Greenwood's dead.
Greenwood's dead.
I told you that with the right foot. You see, I'm right-footed. I'm not as gifted as my son with both feet, but I have a banging right foot. And you see, today he just did he linked up with Martial. He was in the right position, and I was like, "Don't worry, this is. I knew it was a goal." I was celebrating already before he clocked it. Go.
Now listen. You were carrying the left foot trait, and he's the gene. Then wait there, blood. It goes gene, trait. Your trait, he's gene.
I mean, this guy, I wouldn't take Mbappe over him. I wouldn't take Messi over him. I wouldn't even... Okay, no. I'd take Ronaldo. I wouldn't take anyone over Mason Greenwood. And Sancho is coming to chow that Carrington plank if he wants Greenwood spot. Because no one...
if Ronaldo came to Old Trafford, you take him.
No, yeah, that's right. Except for Ronaldo. He doesn't live.
Ronaldo, you did say that. My bad.
But Ronaldo's my dad. I can't not take my dad. But yeah, if Sancho comes, he can't get Greenwood spot just like that. There's no ways. I would never allow it. This kid is at his next level. And for the fourth week in a row, or fourth game in a row, 10 out of 10, my man of the match, no question about it. Our most dangerous player in the team today. And his strength, his work rate, his skill. Oh my God, his shooting is this guy's perfect. He's perfect.
All I'll say is right wingers don't score goals from those angles, blood. I'm just saying, fam. If you want a number 9, if you have any doubts about Martial,
put him in goalkeeper. Put him in goalkeeper.
But if he's going to be that, I'm good with it.
Yeah, he's versatile. At the end of the day, Mason Greenwood can be whatever he wants to be as long as he doesn't get injured.
Yeah.
Like. I was telling Ty during the game, it's like he's saying, try and drop me. Just try and drop me. Like, the consistency. And it's something we complained about him before the lockdown, saying sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Now he's just oozing confidence. And it's a joy to watch. So I'm going to give him...
Yeah, sorry. You can give your rating.
I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, because look, I know we on the show are level-headed people, and some of you listening to the show are level-headed people, but for the not-so-level-headed people, Greenwood before lockdown and Greenwood after lockdown, two different players because A, Bruno and Pogba are in the team, so he doesn't have to do much. If you noticed, Greenwood, even in the game specifically against Wolves, first of all, it was his first time, or one of his first few times, playing in the right wing position. So you can't fault a young player for playing in a completely new position at the highest level. That's number one. But number two, you can't fault a young player who has to drop back and do most of the work because Pereira and Lingard, the only thing they know how to do right is put their socks on, fam, and somehow sneak, into the Manchester United team and maybe bring Ole Gunnar Solskjaer some tea so that they can get into the boss's good side and keep getting selected, fam. Then wait there. Like, Greenwood was working overtime, doing exactly what Martial does. So that's number one. Number two, right now, if you compare to what he's doing right now, he's playing in a team where he doesn't have to do all the work. All he has to do is just get on the end of the ball. Like, even the assist from Martial. If Martial doesn't work that hard, Greenwood is doing the hard work there, because he's the right winger. Martial was selfless and gave him the assist, and all he had to do was shoot. And fair play to him, it's not easy to score goals like that. He's probably one of the best finishers, especially in those difficult tight angles, since the Van Persies, since the Rooneys. A lot of people are comparing him to the young Wayne Rooney, not just in terms of stats, but in terms of actual ability, which is it's fantastic to see.
To George Best, because he's about to break George Best's record even.
And
George Best is a baller.
Greenwood is fantastic, and this is why it's important to have players like Bruno and Pogba in the team, because it all works together. You remove Bruno, you remove Pogba.
If you remove any of our first team players, it's tough.
That ball doesn't get to Greenwood. That ball doesn't get to Greenwood if you don't have Bruno and Pogba in that team, because Martial doesn't get the ball, probably in such an advanced position. Yeah, right, Villa, crap, it's easy to say that, but look at how crap we played against Norwich when we didn't have Pogba and Bruno starting in the same team. We took Pogba out of that team, and we nearly lost to a team in 20th. Just let that marinate for a little bit. So I think Greenwood is a fantastic, fantastic player, but don't get it twisted. Our team at the moment, our starting 11 is fantastic, and it just helps. Greenwood doesn't have to do much, and I think the same thing is happening to Rashford. I think Rashford is in a different situation at the moment. He doesn't have to do everything, so therefore, perhaps the amount of balls he got fed in the past is not the same as he is getting fed now. Now Rashford only has one or two opportunities really to influence the game, and the one opportunity was nearly an assist if Wan-Bissaka just put it in. So I think that's just my opinion on Greenwood, and he can be anything he wants to be. I still don't think he's a right winger, but he's proving me wrong every week. So who am I to say he's not a right winger? I still think he'd be better in the middle though. But quickly, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of 10.
Before we move on, I'm chilling with a Chelsea fan here, and he says he wants to ask us a question about our midfield.
Hi, first-time caller, long-time listener. So I was talking to a Liverpool fan earlier. Yeah. Grant, Liverpool fans, whatever. So we were talking about the Bruno effect, sort of how Bruno has come in and sort of stabilized the club. Obviously, you guys have been winning a lot since Bruno has come in. Yeah. Now, I want to ask if United fans in general think that's a temporary thing or a permanent thing. Obviously, people want it to be a permanent thing because it'll make the club better because of his effect, his leadership and all that. But is this where if Bruno starts playing badly, Pogba's attitude is going to come out and and the club's going to start falling apart? Or is this a more stabilizing sort of, this is it now?
It's very easy. First of all, Manchester United's situation at the moment is very fragile because if Pogba or Bruno gets injured, we're done. That's why it's important for us to get Grealish in the summer and potentially Jadon Sancho and whoever else we need. So Manchester United are only in a good place at the moment because our starting 11 is good. The rest of our depth is bad. So that's number one. Number two, if you go back and watch Bruno Fernandes at Sporting, whether you think the Portuguese league is a farmers league or not, the characteristics that Bruno Fernandes is showing at Manchester United right now, it's nothing new. He did this at Sporting. Sporting was not a decent team. Bruno Fernandes was carrying that team on his back. And you don't have to listen to me. Go and look at his stats in the Portuguese league. And he's just transferred that to the Premier League. And that shows what a consistent player is. To come to a completely new country that speaks a completely different language, it's a foreign country, to play at the way he's playing at this level and keep proving the haters wrong is amazing. And I'm not saying Bruno's going to have a perfect game every game. No, he probably won't. But perhaps he's just that good. And opposition fans don't want to hear it because he's only been here for 5 minutes. Cool. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think based on what he did at Sporting, it is going to be a long-term thing. It's about whether or not him and Pogba can stay fit and whether or not Manchester United spend the money in the summer. Because if one of them is not starting, this team is crap, ain't it? Like, I'm not afraid to admit that. Without one of them starting, this team is crap. And I don't know what's going on with McTominay and Fred at the moment. But without one of them, it is crap. Go watch our game against Norwich. Bruno played in that game, but he couldn't do it alone. Sometimes you just can't do it alone. And I think that's just the honest truth with Bruno Fernandes.
My second question relating to that. Do you think it's productive or counterproductive to have a sort of linchpin player? Like, to take an example, I was talking to one of my friends as a Chelsea fan before Hazard left. And he was saying that if Hazard left, Chelsea becomes a mid-table team. Obviously, that hasn't happened. And I'm going to have to run a separate Chelsea podcast to show why Hazard leaving isn't the worst thing that's happened to Chelsea since God knows what, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's a different segment. But is it counterproductive? Because if Bruno gets injured, that leadership goes away. So do you think that is an effective tool to have just one player stabilizing the whole club? Or is it going to be if you get injured?
Obviously not. Like, we need squad depth. But what I will say to people is, go back. I mean, okay, you're obviously not going to go back and watch historical teams. Nobody's going to do that. But Eric Cantona came to Manchester United and didn't turn Manchester United from a mid-table team to a title-winning team, but he did turn them from a team that couldn't win titles to a team that can win titles. Manchester United were already making top four. They were already in title races, but they just didn't have enough, and Eric Cantona came in. Eric Cantona could have gotten injured. He could have done his knee in, and he could have been out for 6 months, and we might not have won or gone on that run or started that period of our history. And that's all fair to say, but football isn't that black and white. And to me, if Bruno Fernandes does stay fit and he does become that leader and he does, continue on this run of form, it doesn't matter. It's a silly argument. It's like saying, where would we be if we didn't have Rashford? We probably wouldn't be fifth fighting for fourth if we didn't have Rashford scoring the 20 goals in that time when Martial was out. But it's in the past now. It doesn't matter. All I would say is it's obviously not a good idea to rely on one person. We obviously need to sign players and have squad depth. But I think Bruno is our Cantona, and he's got to go and prove that. But I think he's our modern Cantona. He is the missing puzzle piece to this team. He is the leader that we needed, not with the armband, but just with his influence and what he's doing on the pitch. And I don't know where we go from here, but I hope that we don't just rely on Bruno and we do actually go and sign the depth that we need.
Right.
Someone like
on the
Grealish
screen.
would be fantastic.
Jack Grealish.
If this club is going to be what we need depth, we definitely need depth because
we do need depth, but we also need players like Bruno.
Yeah.
Look at Madrid when they won 3 Champions League titles. I'm not saying Ronaldo carried them because I'm a firm believer in the fact that that team was fantastic. Even without Ronaldo, they had some fantastic players. Would they have won 3 Champions Leagues in a row without Ronaldo, though? Probably not, because Ronaldo was a big game player. And you can sit back and say, remove Ronaldo and Madrid are crap, but it doesn't mean anything because Madrid won 3 Champions Leagues. Like, they don't care. Like, you're screaming into an empty void, It's like telling a United fan they were nothing without Fergie. Yeah, we know, but we're not gonna not celebrate Fergie's excellence now just because of that argument. It's just a weird argument from opposition fans. Like, I don't care if you think Bruno's overrated. I don't care if you think we're fragile without Bruno. I know this. I just hope he stays fit and we sign the players we need,
The problem is, I think, one last question. I'm sorry I'm taking up all your time.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good.
The one question I have is that the situation, if we compare Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Man United, right? And we take the three marquee players right now. The Hazard, Ronaldo, and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
So, obviously, there are different situations comparison to the league. But Hazard left, and we're still competing for top 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't crumble when Hazard left. Ronaldo left Real Madrid, and they had problems, but now they're winning the league title. The thing I'm seeing with United is that you sort of need Fernandes to play at this level. Where if you take Fernandes out, it's sort of like you guys weren't doing that well.
That's 100% true.
Fernandes. So I feel like it's sort of a different situation where he's sort of being relied on more for results. Where if you take him out of the equation, the whole team crumbles. Whereas the other teams, they have the players around them. And I know you said talk about squad depth. That's why I think it's so important that you guys sign people in the summer. Because I don't know where you guys are going to go if you don't get in Sancho or Grealish. Because
no, that's true.
it's like because you can't, because with those other teams you could remove the marquee players and they still play okay. You guys, and I don't want to judge because I'm a Chelsea fan, I'm not a United fan, I don't watch every United game, but from what I've seen before Bruno Fernandes came in and contrasting it to what I've seen when Bruno Fernandes is in, it seems like the quality of play just massively increases. And you need to sort of like bridge that gap where if Bruno Fernandes leaves, you can still play well without it. You know what I mean?
No, I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree with you. All I would say to someone who's saying that is don't overlook how good our defense was and some of the positive things. Now, obviously, defense doesn't win you titles. Defense doesn't get you top 4. Defense and creating goals gets you top 4. And I think that's what United need. And you're 100% right. You're 100% right. It is dangerous relying on one player for creativity, but that's been United's biggest problems. We don't concede that many goals. We get a lot of clean sheets. So defense, fine. You know, we do have a number 9 who's capable of scoring goals. We do have a winger who's capable of having 20 goals in all competitions because he's just proven that. We do have a young talent who's coming into the ranks, but that's not enough. And Bruno Fernandes is not enough. And we're never going to win a title in a million years with just Bruno Fernandes. So I 100% agree with everything you've said. It's not the same as Madrid. Madrid didn't just have Ronaldo. They had Ramos. They had Varane. They had Carvajal. They had Marcelo, who was probably in the best form of his life. They had Navas, who was arguably knocking on the door for top 3 goalkeepers when he was in form. Take that with a pinch of salt, but he got nominated for goalkeeper of the year in his best season. They had all these players in all these positions that were clearly above average. And Manchester United don't have that, at least not right now, in my opinion. And our depth is questionable. So 100%, I agree with everything you're saying. I've got no argument for it.
I think it's clear that there were a lot of pieces missing at United. And we have a good defense and good attackers, but then we need a 10. And having a 10 enables everybody around them to play at a higher standard. Yeah. And that's what it is, really. We just need to fill in those gaps. We fill in the gap in the 10.
Yeah, Bruno was the missing puzzle piece.
Yeah, we need to fill in the gap in depth, and it'll make us a better team.
Yeah, that's what people don't understand, right?
Yeah, keep going.
No, you can go. It's okay.
My problem is, right now you should have 2 marquee players, because there was a marquee player that you guys signed a bit ago for about 100 mil. His name was Paul Pogba, and he wasn't showing up before then. And I understand he's performing better now, and I want to see him perform better. He's performing better when Bruno is here. The partnership is class. I can't argue with that. I'm not going to be one of those fans who's going to be like, oh, Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, they're going to stop my Chelsea from getting top 4. No, I admire a good player. But he should have been performing to the standard before, and I understand there were more.
I disagree with that.
Pogba, he needs other people around him, and I don't know if that's the sign of a marquee player, you know what I mean?
I disagree with that. I understand where you're coming from, but I disagree with that. I think the fact that Paul Pogba should have performed before Bruno Fernandes is a myth. Paul Pogba at France played deep. Paul Pogba at France, when they won the World Cup, played deep. Paul Pogba, when we didn't have Bruno Fernandes, was not only playing deep, but he was playing in the middle because Lingard's trash, Pereira's trash, and every other 10 that's tried to play in the middle is trash. Paul Pogba was playing in a team where, first of all, he had defensive responsibilities. He couldn't play the diagonal long balls from deep because he needed to be on the end of those balls. So he was juggling attacking responsibilities and defensive responsibilities. If Paul Pogba wasn't here, Bruno Fernandes would also be struggling because at some point Bruno would have to start playing deep as well.
Yeah,
at some point, Matic's job would get too difficult, and we've seen this before. So I disagree with that. All these people who say Paul Pogba should have been great, it's not true. Paul Pogba's never been a player to carry a team on his back. He's not like Ronaldo.
This. If you remove Silva, Fernandinho, Rodri, and put Pereira, Lingard, and Fred around De Bruyne, he won't carry Man City to the title.
Yeah, dude, De Bruyne can't do what he does if he's not getting the ball, you know? And that's what people don't understand. Pogba comes to light when he's playing deep and his abilities to switch play from diagonally. And not only that, but also get up the pitch and get up and down the pitch fluidly without having to worry, oh, if I go too far forward, there's no one to defend. You know, that helps a lot. And I'm not saying Paul Pogba hasn't had a massive step up since Bruno has gotten here, because I can't prove that. But I will defend Pogba and say, if you think he was a marquee player and he should have been performing at this level before, I think you're misguided, because Paul Pogba was never that player. Paul Pogba's never been a player who carries people on their backs. Even at Juve, he had a fantastic team around him at Juve. He never carried Juve alone.
Juve and France.
Yeah,
at France, he had that as well. He never carried France to the final. Not in a million years. Are you mad? Pogba's not. He's world class, but he's not that good. Like, I think you're living up his ass too much if you think he's that good.
I think the problem with Pogba was he came with unwarranted expectation. That's my problem with him.
Yeah,
he came with this price tag. He came with this reputation of he's a world-beater midfielder that can destroy defenses and stuff. And I feel like it was overstated a bit, where people thought he was going to do everything.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say it's a myth. When people say Pogba should be playing more advanced, why are you playing Pogba deep? It's like, Chief, when has Pogba played advanced? He can do it, but like that's not his main thing, you know? No, 100%, man. If you're coming from that angle, I
think people confuse Paul Pogba how he is with what they want him to be. You know, They have this nice image of Paul Pogba who's a 10 and makes these killer passes and does these and scores 20 goals a season. Like, he's not going to do that.
Exactly.
And he's an excellent player, but I see what you're saying when he's saying he needs players around him to do that, because he's not going to carry your team. It's just
there was no point
the expectation that was put on him was too high. Where you're buying a deep midfielder for 100 and whatever million and expect him to say, okay, so now do everything, Pogba. That's good.
Yeah.
We'll give you a cookie. Please do everything.
Exactly. That's how it is in the modern game. Your price tag ultimately will define whether or not you're a flop or success. That's just the way it is. I mean, Maguire apparently is an £80 million flop because, you know, British tax.
Like, you have control of your price tag.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But before we drag the show on too long, I think we should stop it right there. But it was really refreshing to have a Chelsea fan on the show, and I think we should do this more in the future. Don't know what you lot think. Let us know in the comments down below what your opinions are of the game, Villa, and everything that we've spoken about. Anything really, engagement helps the channel grow. I think one last thing. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, do you guys want to give him a rating, or are you kind of over it because Villa were crap?
No, I'll give Ole a rating.
Go ahead then.
I'm going to give Ole a 9. You know, I think he couldn't do much wrong. He picked the team exactly what I was going to pick, you know, same team, the first team.
Yeah.
You pick it 4 games in a row. You break the record for the first Premier League team to win 4 Premier League games in a row by 3 goals or more. So yeah, I'm very happy with Ole. No complaints about Ole.
Yeah, no, it's unfair to not give him credit. We can't just do nothing. We're giving the players credit when we're doing well, but when we're doing crap, it's Ole's fault. That's unfair. He's been picking the team consistently. He's been preparing them. We haven't lost in a long time. And tactically, you can see the adjustments he makes. And especially today, I think not pressing so high was very good because of how Villa play. And I think it played in our hands. So, 9.
Yeah, fantastic. Good stuff. Positivity in the fan base. This inevitable unbeaten streak, it's inevitable that it will eventually come crumbling down. Hopefully, it doesn't happen before the end of the season. But even then, I think we're pushing it. And it will be interesting to see when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does decide to rest someone, because he's going to have to rest these players eventually. And the last thing we want is losing top 4 because of injury, you know. And if you can't rest your players against Villa, when are you going to rest them? I hope he doesn't do it against Southampton, man. But anyways, that has been your Villa versus Manchester United match reaction. 3-0, 3 points, clean sheet. Absolutely fantastic, dominant stuff. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and I hope you enjoyed the discussion. If you did, do not forget to smash that like button. If you're new, do not forget to subscribe. We make these match reactions, match previews type of content every single week when Manchester United play. So, peace out, I guess.